I want to walk in the room, you flinch a little bit because like you scared. Like that's what
fear
rap,
over love.
That's what rap is. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want.
You think people feel too comfortable around you?
Yeah, for sure.
We're sitting on a beanbag.
Sitting on a beanbag with two white people in Brooklyn, people are definitely too comfortable around me.
We are back with Niles Abston
Yay.
on the podcast.
What's up?
Oh my God.
We gotta do a proper intro.
We do need to do a
Let me
proper-
do it. Okay.
You do it.
People
You
who
got
don't know, Niles, incredible comedian, writer, currently producing a film, 98 Honda. Plenty of specials up on YouTube. Household Name, I think, was the last one. Was written for TV shows, but
Dave
we're so
on
lucky-
FX.
Dave on FX. We're so lucky to have incredibly talented Niles Abston.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much.
Firstly, how has your week been so far doing New York Comedy Fest shows?
It's been amazing, man. It's been amazing. I did a few shows with some friends, and they've all just been really good audiences and everything. So
Nice.
I'm very tired. I'm ready to go home.
Yeah,
Sunglasses are on.
Yeah,
So before we get into your rabbit, what is because you live in LA, correct?
I do. I live
Yeah.
in Hollywood,
You and where are you from originally?
Mississippi.
Mississippi. How old were you when you moved to LA?
20.
20.
Yeah.
Oh my! And you moved to do comedy?
No, I moved to make movies, and then I realized you had to go to NYU to do that shit.
Oh, no.
So somebody told me I should try doing stand-up, and so I just tried it. I was really bad, and I just stuck with it. And then now I'm able to like get to the point where maybe I can make a movie one day now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh wow. Wait, is there anything you could share with the audience about the movie that you're working on?
Yeah, man. It's called 98 Honda. It's set in 2004. I play a drug dealer that has to babysit his girlfriend's little cousin for the day, and they go on a sci-fi adventure. And
That's awesome.
yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But we just shot the short film proof of concept version of the movie independently up in Massachusetts a couple weeks ago. So we're working on getting that edited now. Basically, it's like the first 15 minutes of the actual like feature film, just to show like how exciting it would be and just like how fun the beginning of the movie is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just shot that, and now it's gonna put it together, do some screenings, get people's feedback, and then shop it around to different places and submit to film festivals, all that type of thing. So
Oh my God, that's so
That's
exciting.
gonna be great.
thank you.
Okay, so but I do have one more question before we get into your rabbit holes. How seriously? Because I saw you on Tuesday. You had an amazing set at Joey Dardano's show.
Thank you.
How serious were you when you were like, I don't even like this. I just want to be a rapper.
Oh, I hate comedy so much. I hate it. I feel like a fucking clown, dude. You go up there and you talk and you just complain about your life, and if it's funny enough, people stick around and laugh. It's just so stupid. I just like, this is so dumb. Why are you sitting in this seat like looking at me right now? I don't get it. But I have fun. Like I have fun doing it, but it's just like there's no money in it unless you grift, and I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's just dumb. But
It's a means to an end for you.
it is.
You're
Like,
trying to
I
do
just want to
something
make
else with it.
movies, and if this will get me there, then cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I don't say this often, but this won't get you there.
Probably won't.
Not to brag.
But I'm having a good time though.
This ain't doing nothing. Did you ever try rapping in the past? Like putting out stuff?
Hell no.
No?
No.
Why not?
No, this is how I know you didn't watch my first special. I have
Yeah.
I got a
True.
whole joke about that. But nah, man, I had too good of a upbringing to rap, bro. Yeah, man.
You say that, but like Dave, famous like Lil Dicky. I mean, I
Exactly.
don't think that he's,
right.
his rap career. I think like
I don't want to be that.
you don't want to be that.
Nah, man.
Oh my God, say it to his face.
No, it's just like if I want to be a rapper, I want to be like somebody like they're scared of. Like I don't want you to look at me as an artist. I want to walk in the room, you flinch a little bit because like you scared. Like that's what
Fear
rap,
over love.
That's what rap is. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's what I want.
You think people feel too comfortable around you?
Yeah, for sure.
We're sitting on a beanbag.
Sitting on a beanbag with two white people in Brooklyn, people are definitely too comfortable around me. The fact that y'all thought I would be okay with this lets me know I need to be a lot more less approachable. But I am having a good time. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, we are glad to have you. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into your internet rabbit holes. The third one that you described to us, I want to get straight into.
Okay.
Which is the way that groupies in your dating life affects the performance of NBA players.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, tell us about
Talk
that.
about this initial clip that you talked to us about.
So, one of my favorite basketball players, his name is Gilbert Arenas. He's one of the best players in the early 2000s. He's famous for pulling a gun on one of his teammates in the locker room. Yeah, he's a really dope guy.
Nice.
And my friend co-hosts a podcast with him now, and like they talk about like the current NBA, but they also tell stories about when they were players, and him and some former players are kind of talking about the groupie situation back when they were playing, and just how like you had some guys on teams who were just complete like savages, like they would go after a girl just because you brought her around, or like a girl you were dating, you might see her at the game in the family and friends section in the court seats, and you're like, damn, who invited her out? And they were said how like a lot of guys like can't shake that shit like mentally, you know. And so the clip got shared to Twitter, because I watched the actual podcast, and so the clip got shared to Twitter. It goes viral, and then someone said, "This is why the 2010s Pacers didn't make it," and everybody was like, "What?" Because basically the Pacers in the 2010, if you're not like a basketball person, they were like a very young team that kind of surprised everybody, and they kind of like really tested LeBron and the Miami Heat in the playoffs and stuff, and nobody expected that because they didn't really play a lot of like national TV games, because who cares about the Indiana Pacers? But like they were this really good, just scrappy young team, and then they just all of a sudden like everybody just kind of left, and the team started playing bad. And from what I've gotten from this internet information, this is all alleged, this might not be true at all, but basically what happened was there was a player that started playing really bad in the playoffs, and everybody just didn't understand why. It just seemed like random, and it comes to find out, it seems like other teammates were getting at the girl that he was currently dating or whatever, and I think it just destroyed his psyche, because it's just like, it's a job like anything else. And also, I think when you watch sports on TV, I don't think we really factor in how many people are at these games. Like, imagine having to do your job and 15,000 people are watching you. Like, when you're at the fax machine, there aren't 15,000 people screaming at you. And so, like, for a dude who, like, literally probably lost his girlfriend to a dude he's passing the ball to. And, like, that's rough. Like, we all have coworkers we literally hate, you know what I'm saying? And, like, we still have to do things with them and all this kind of stuff. But imagine doing that in the NBA when you go to all your jobs, and I was like, we're a team. They're actually a team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They actually are a team, and they have to work together and shit. And so it would be hard to be like, all right, I'm going to work together with these guys that were in my girlfriend's DMs. Like, that's crazy.
No, totally.
Yeah, and it just kind of fucked the whole team up.
How widespread do you think that is across basketball teams? Them just like going for each other's girls.
From what I've heard, it's everywhere. It's crazy because one of the players on the podcast who was a star when I was a kid in the 2000s, now his kid is in the NBA, and he was telling his son to just be prepared for that, you know. And his son was like, "Oh no, it's not gonna happen." And I guess the team his son is on were doing training camp in Puerto Rico, and he went to knock on a teammate's door, and the girl he had been dating opened the door. And he like called, he said, my son called me, he was like, "Dad, you were right. This NBA shit is crazy."
Oh my God.
And then, I'm not gonna say any names, but one of the stars of the Pacers that was doing that shit was on his son's team.
Oh my God.
So it's just like, I think this guy is the common denominator. I'm not gonna say his name because I do like the way you play, and I'd like to get an autographed jersey one day.
This guy stole my dad's girl and his dad's girl before him, and
it's crazy. It's generational.
Oh my God.
Because like it's like the way they explained it, these players are talking about is like, if you date somebody and you bring them into that world of the NBA, you're now like introducing them to this world.
Crazy.
And they meet all these athletes, and like Gilbert Arenas was saying, like, when you came to the NBA, you had basketball players you looked up to and you were in awe of. You don't think the girl you're dating doesn't as well? She has a crush on these guys who are making more money than you in the NBA. So there's even tiers to that, you know?
Oh my God.
So it's crazy to think about it that way, but like, that's what these guys are dealing with. Like, when they miss those free throws, be nicer. They might have just lost their girlfriend. You never know.
Oh my God.
When they don't pass the ball.
Yeah. And some of these coaches is nasty too. The coaches is doing it too, man.
Oh my God. Do you think that's widespread across all like major sports?
Most likely.
Yeah. Do you think there's which sport do you think that happens the least, where like there's the most fidelity, where not cheating happens? You get it. I didn't say that well, but
fidelity.
Yeah, the most fidelity.
I'd say curling, but I don't know. them dudes might be savages in the DMs too.
It's got to be a game where it's like,
but it's all
no
polite because they're all the
has-
Canadian champs. They're so
Right.
polite with it.
Yeah.
Nah,
That I was at a party with comedians recently, and someone was like, "That guy is fucking that guy's girlfriend, and he doesn't know." And I was just like,
oh my god.
"Are people like?" It's crazy how much. Which stand up is different because you're not on a team,
Yeah.
but it is still
Yeah.
like connection
You
based.
learn that very early.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you're burning bridges when you do that.
Yes.
And I'm just like, it's crazy that there is such a culture just in so many different things where it's like,
It's crazy.
Yeah. Cloud
Damn.
I
permeates
would
everything.
never
Yes.
bring
Damn, somebody just said it at the party and just told you.
Yes, and then I was standing there like, I don't know these people, but like,
Yo.
does someone want to tell him?
But now you do.
I was thinking about that the other night. It's like, how much information about people, like as far as like relationships and sex, have you learned about somebody you don't
Yeah.
know, and somebody just like willingly gave the info? And
Oh
you're like,
my
fuck.
God.
And I'm like, has somebody done this to me?
I would
Yes.
say
Somebody,
Oh,
like, people
yeah.
know shit about me.
I think especially in comedy because
Yes.
comedy is by
Yeah.
nature so revelatory. You say everything.
Yes. Because
I
I,
think- yeah.
I was hanging out with these two comedians the other night. We were walking around, and I guess one is like dating this new guy who has money and stuff. And they were like, I was like asking like, oh, so how's it going? And she's like, hey, he's whatever. He pays for stuff. Just wish he like actually dicked me down. And her friend started laughing. It was like, yeah, all he does is just cry into your boobs every night. And I was just like, I don't even know this dude, and now I know his weakest moment. Like Jesus. I'm just like, I don't. If you hear anything about me, it's not true. Like
all
that, look,
lies?
it's all lies. Like that is like I was just like I know this. I don't even know what he looks like, and I know his weakest moment is sadly crying into breast because of his erectile dysfunction. Like that is. That's not right.
We've all been there.
Look, I'm not gonna say that, but
Shout out to the fallen.
yeah, but it sucks that I know this about this man. I don't even know who he is. So
Oh, you
I
don't
was-
know his name.
I don't even know
You
his
don't
name.
know his
I don't even
name.
know his name. I just know he cries at
You just
night
know this
Yeah.
person
during,
exists.
during sex, and so I'm just kind of like, damn. I wonder what somebody just flippantly told somebody. Like, oh, you know, Niles Abston, blah 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 blah. I'm like, god damn it.
Yeah, it's great. Like a similar one, like not as like bad a story, but a friend of ours recently hooked up with a guy with a debilitatingly large penis, who is like
have
not
not
a
heard
comedian but
this.
friends.
Debilitating.
Oh,
What is
like
it?
huh?
No, keep going.
I don't. No, I don't want to
So
say
what
who
does
it
that
is.
mean?
Just like it was too big for her,
Damn.
and like, but it looked like it didn't work for him. Like all the blood drained from his body. Like he can't think or do anything because it's so big. Like he looks disabled by it.
Like it looks like a problem. Like it looks
Yeah.
like that's a chore to like have to hold all of that all the time.
Yeah. It's like a tumor sapping all your nutrients. You know.
Damn.
And she said, she was like, I can't take it. And then but apparently he's like friends with a lot of comedians. And she was like, did you know that your buddy like has the biggest dick? And this guy was like, no.
I did not know that actually. That's crazy. Now that's just out there.
Now
Yeah.
that's just out there. We know way too much.
We know too much
We
about
know way
each other.
too much.
We should know less.
We do. But let's talk about someone else, another world that you know a lot about, which is this conspiracy theory around
Yes.
Babe Ruth.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Talk about
switch
it.
sports. We're going
Yes.
to
Wait, first talk about how you found your way into this topic.
Well, one of my friends who's like big on Twitter talking about baseball, they were posting about it, and they had said something like, Babe Ruth killed his wife. And I was like, wait, what?
You can't just say that.
Yeah. And so I was high one night, and I just like looked it up and looked on YouTube, but there's a lot of people, and there is a lot of evidence that is possible. I'm not saying it's happened, but it's possible. Conspiracy that he was trying to get out of his marriage or whatever. And so he had, because I think they were still technically married at the time, but they weren't living together.
Oh, separate?
And
Oh, okay.
she was getting money and all this type of stuff. And so the house burned down with her in it, just randomly one day.
That's a coincidence. That's all right. Yeah.
Just and so I don't know. And so but I think Babe Ruth was so important to the sport and all this other type of stuff. They just covered it
Yeah.
up. But that definitely could be a thing. But I looked it up. There's a lot of people out there in the YouTube conspiracy community that really are heated about this, man. That I'd call him the fake home run king because like they didn't count any of the home runs from Negro League baseball.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, if you were playing a sport before black dudes could do it, I don't really respect it. But it's just like, but yeah, hey man, it sounds like he was the O.J. Simpson of his time. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about the fact that he got away with it and the fact that we don't know about it, that's a huge amount of white privilege.
Well,
Yeah.
anytime it's arson too, it's like, things don't really just burn down that
No,
often.
especially
yeah.
like really nice houses too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you look it up. Look it up.
Yeah.
Babe
Neither
Ruth
do
burn
women.
house.
Women typically don't burn down just spontaneously.
Oh yeah, that's true. I've never seen it happen.
No.
Is the evidence mostly just like it's arson, which is really rare, or
Yeah,
like it's fire, which is really rare?
I don't think it was ever proven that it happened by accident. Like it was like definitely like they think it was arson, and then I think he was like out of town that day, so that was what he used as alibi. But it's just like you could have just hired somebody. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely something people like definitely think about. And then people, and then I guess there's accounts from people during that time that I guess they say like he was the way he talked about her, it definitely felt like he would have done something or whatever. So
yeah.
Interesting. Wait, have you heard the theory that Babe Ruth was mixed?
Oh yeah, that's definitely true, bro. He wasn't all white. He was definitely like either like
We've talked about this,
he's definitely like half Dominican or half black or something. And then they just like all the pictures of him are in black and white. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like he definitely wasn't all white. He was definitely something else, but they just let him play because he was so good.
Yeah. Wait, are there any other big athletes that maybe had like conspiracies like that swept under the rug, do you think?
Oh yeah, you ever heard of Ray Lewis?
Ray Lewis, I've heard the name. I don't know.
He was a superstar linebacker for the Ravens. Basically, like one night he was out with some people and they had an altercation with somebody, and the dude just wound up dead. And he had a white suit on that night. And there are accounts that people saw him like with blood on the white suit, and then somehow the white suit just was never seen again. And so yeah, a lot of people think he either killed somebody or he knows who killed this guy.
Crimes of fashion.
Yeah, right. And so yeah, it was like a whole big thing, and then it just one day kind of got swept under the rug. So
yeah, that
was definitely a big one.
Oh my god.
What else?
Damn, there's a lot of drama in sports.
Yeah,
no one's
off
talking
the
about
record.
this.
Yeah.
So, cause you gotta think about it. It's like you get paid all this money for a short stint in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From your early 20s to probably your early 30s, if you're lucky. You get paid all this money, and then you have like all this fame and stuff, and so everybody that's ever known you wants a favor. And then you have this like huge fan base, and like sports fans are crazy.
Yeah.
Like
actually nuts.
Like there's been like several movies and TV episodes where like the premise is like they kidnap the sports star on the other team because they bet money on whatever. And
Space Jam is just kidnapping an athlete.
Literally. And so it's just like people have these weird, and then it's also like that whole thing of like most professional athletes are black, so there's like a weird relationship between like a lot of cities, if you go to games, like that shit's expensive, so like most of the fan base is white at all these games, so it's like a weird relationship with that, with like you're yelling at a black dude on a field. I don't know about that. That's weird. You know. So yeah, it's like fans are weird, and people bet money on games, and so like you just like, if you have money on something, like that's where bad things start to happen. And like that, I don't know if y'all know about that referee that was fixing games because he was betting on the games he was reffing in the NBA. And then
let me tighten your mic. It's jiggling around.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good. But yeah, there's a referee named Tim Donaghy, and at first it was a conspiracy theory, but then it turned out to be true. He was betting on games that he was refereeing, and he could just kind of like make the outcome of the game happen the way he betted it. And so he was sharing the information with a friend, so this friend could make an extra couple dollars, and he thought the friend wasn't telling anybody, but this friend knew people in like the mafia, the Gambino mafia. And so the mafia was making all this money off these picks by this referee, and he had no idea he was making them all this money. And so then he started feeling bad, so he stopped. And then apparently the mafia sent a message like, "No, bro, you got to keep doing this shit, or we're gonna go kill your wife and your kids." And then he had to like tell the NBA because he was in trouble and he was scared.
Yeah.
But are you saying the mafia makes threats?
Yeah, man. And it's over sports, like, because they were making so much money.
Yeah.
Because if the dude blowing the whistle
can
influence the game, you can do it.
Yeah.
And so like that was like a conspiracy that like referees were betting on the games and stuff, and people would always be like, "Oh, that's crazy." No, they're not. And then you come to find out this dude was literally like in trouble with the mafia because he was betting on shit. It's like, what aren't these people doing? So it's a crazy world.
It's so satisfying when a conspiracy theory
comes
right.
true.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Wait, I want to ask you, if you were the coach of a team, is there anything you think you would do to try to minimize all of this and also the dating drama that happens between players? What would you do?
I mean, that's the thing. It's like coaching is like a hands-on thing, but also hands-off, especially when you start coaching like college athletes and professional athletes. Because you got to think, pro sports, this isn't like coaching kids. You're coaching another grown man that makes more money than you.
Yeah.
So like, I have to listen, bro. I make way more money than you. I have to listen to you, and so like, how am I going to take dating? So it's really on the athlete. Like, am I going to take dating advice from this guy, or like, you know? And I'm sure every team talks about like, hey, don't be betting, don't do this, don't do that. But it's like it's up to the guys to actually listen to that shit, because like, you know, like it goes like my dad had a friend. He played for the LA Rams back in the 80s, and he was involved in cocaine trafficking. Like, he was like, you already playing in the NFL, you already won, but he was using his money, and he was like a big time like cocaine dealer, living his fast life and stuff. Because that's the thing, like, you attract the worst people when you get a bunch of money.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so they bring you to these parties, and you're doing good drugs and stuff, and they're like, hey, you should like give us your money and help us sell them, and we can make you more money.
Yeah.
And so he's been in prison since the 80s, like, for cocaine trafficking. And it's like you literally won. You were in the NFL. Why did you do that shit? But it's like you just get caught up with those people. So I'm sure he had people telling him like, hey, don't do that, and he still did. So it's just kind of up to the person.
So yeah, if you were a coach, you'd be like, hey, don't do this.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
In your success in stand-up, filmmaking, writing, have you noticed people reaching out to you for help, treating you differently?
Oh, yeah, of course. All the people that think I'm going to help them write their script for free. All that shit. Hey, man, we should like write together one day. And I'm always like, all right, well, how many scripts have you written? Well, I have this like idea, and I'm thinking about. No, I'm not helping you write your first script, bro. Like, are you serious? But it is crazy how the more successful you get at something, people feel very entitled to your time for some reason.
Yeah, and for free.
Yeah, and it's like, don't you think I have less time to do this?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of, hey man, can I come pick your brain, or can we sit down? And I get it, you know, because people have done that for me. But it's also like, you also have to understand, it's like when people are getting busier and busier, they're not being like standoffish. It's just like, I worked really hard to finally do this work, so I have to go do the actual work now. That's the biggest thing in like comedy and writing, is like we all grind so much to get to a point to like actually do the thing, and then when it's time to actually do the thing, most people just like can't actually do it.
For sure.
And there's something too of just like you've reached such a visible point of success, and it's like almost insulting to be like, you, depending on how close they are to you, but like people farther out where they just assume you'll do it for free, and it's like, I'm not even gonna start by offering you compensation is like insulting, and it's like, hey man, look around.
Even if they say like, hey, I'd love to pick your brain, can I buy you lunch one day?
That's
Something,
perfectly fine.
Just a gesture of like, I realize this is taking time out of your day, let me do something for you. Something. Doesn't have to be huge.
Right. That's perfectly it. If you do that, and I've done that, you know, and people appreciate you. People appreciate being appreciated.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you're making the effort to, you know, this is gonna be annoying for me, and you know this is taking time for me, but you at least want to compensate in some way.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Any consideration for how you experience this, it goes the hugest way.
Right.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's definitely been a lot of that. A lot of just like shows I couldn't get on 4 years ago. Now all of a sudden, they want, oh yeah, hey bro, come do a set. Like I definitely have had this happen several times. Where like 4 or 5 years ago, I DM like a show's Instagram account, like, hey, do you guys have any guest spots, or can I do this? And they left me on red. And then 4 years later, I get a message from that account, and the last message you see is me asking to be on their show. And then the next message is them being like, hey man, you want to come do a spot on our show? And I'm just like, sure.
Yeah, I'm available 5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So
we want the people you'll bring in now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's the game. You know?
Yeah.
Yep, indeed it is. Can we talk about how obsessive are you about how movies are made?
Oh, I love the process.
Yeah.
It's all I want to do in life, man. It's
Right.
crazy. Just like, because like this past
Would you abandon stand-up completely?
completely.
Completely.
Yeah,
heartbeat.
you already said that.
I know.
If someone said like, hey, you can make whatever movie you want for the rest of your life, but you can never go on stage and do stand up again, I'd be like, where do I sign?
Yeah.
Like, I'll absolutely.
That's why I started
Because what I'll do
stand-up.
is I'll write a character in a movie where I play stand up, and then I can just do stand up in the movie. There you go. Loophole, you know?
Yep.
But I think the process is so cool because it's movies are very much like you're just like putting this like slice of life on screen for like 2 hours, and I love movies because they have this finite ending. Unless it's a Marvel movie, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
But
Oh, are you saying you don't like Marvel?
I'm not saying that. I don't like what it's turned into.
No, you shouldn't have to watch every single movie
You have
to
to
get
do
a
it.
movie
You have
alone.
to. It's like taking a 101 course just to know
Yeah.
what's going on in the next movie.
It's an MLM.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love. So that's why I love indie films, man, because like it shows a point of view, or like the best indie films are like very specific. And then they become universal because you realize like we all have certain experiences no matter who you are, you know. And so I love that in films, and just seeing the process of it and just like making my own. That was the first time I produced a film through my own production company. So it was like seeing how much insurance costs and setting up payroll and having to do this and checking the child labor laws in that state. Because if you're an idiot like me, you write a movie where your co-star is a child, and then you realize for scheduling, oh, he's 8, so he can only be on set for 5 hours, you know. So it's like working around that, and so I learned a lot, and it was really fun to put together, and like it very much feels like being on a football team, because like
Oh yeah.
football is one of those sports where every position does something different. Like every sport doesn't really have that. Whereas like basketball, everybody kind of does the same thing. Soccer, everybody kind of does the same thing except for the goalie. Where like football, like everyone has a different thing they have to do, and if all those things don't add up into a whole, then like you don't accomplish what you need to accomplish. And so like that's the way it is with film. Like you could have a great take, but then the boom's in the shot, you know what I'm saying? The boom microphone, or the set design people didn't have the window looking right, and all this other types. Like, so it's like all these little things come, and like you have to check all those boxes off, and you have to really pay attention to detail. And then like the best filmmakers pay very great attention to detail, which is why like I love writing on Dave, because Lil Dicky is like one of those people who has a very specific vision. So like he knows everything about every scene of the show down to like what the curtains look like. Like he's so specific.
Yeah.
And so like
It's just attractive to see that passion in someone.
Yes, it is.
That's so
Yeah.
that's why it was fun working for him, because it was like I want to do this. What he's doing, I want to do. And like it was cool watching him like collaborate with the showrunners and like the directors and the other actors, and like bringing all these people to execute a vision that is in his head.
Yeah.
And so like I learned a lot from him that I was able to like take to my film. So shout out to Lil
That's
Dicky.
really nice.
Shout out to Lil Dicky.
Yeah.
What are things that you have learned in obsessing over how films are made? What have you learned that you wish you knew when you first started exploring this?
I would say how important like crew morale is. Like that is what
makes a lot of sense.
that sets everything apart. It's like if the crew feels good and excited and happy on set to be there, you're gonna make a good movie. And I think that starts with like the script needs to be good, because there's a lot of things like if you can't pay people a lot of money or you can't do this, I think if they're excited about the project in itself and saying they're a part of that, the script being good, I think can really help with morale. Then secondly, food on set has to be good, you know.
Yeah.
What kind did you have on your set?
Yeah, if you eating good, like you can do a 12-hour day, you know.
Yeah.
Huge.
And so like, yeah, it takes a big crew, because this is the first thing I was a part of independently where like the director and the DP, they can just come talk to me. We don't have to like, he doesn't have to make some calls to go get the food. Like when I directed my first short a couple years ago, it did well and got a little write up in Vulture and stuff. I was having to like drive people to set, I had to order the food for everybody. I had to get people gas money. I had to do all this stuff. But like this time, like I had a line producer that took care of all of that, and like our DP had camera assistants and stuff to where like when the cut gets called, they're grabbing the camera off of him and they're setting it up to where he can come talk to me. And so like that saves so much time and energy.
Yeah.
Like and you realize like literally like the more jobs you have to do on a set, it kind of like weighs you down. And so like you get freer and freer the less things you have to do. And so like I wanted to like only act in the movie, and so I still had to do like a lot of other things because it was my production company and I had to do other stuff, but I had to do a lot less this time, and I can tell like that really helped with the quality of the project. Nice. And so it's just like getting to that level to where you realize, okay, no, you do need assistants and PAs and things and other crew members and lighting and gaffing and all that kind of stuff, because it just makes the job easier for everybody else. And you just got to learn how to delegate. And I think a lot of artists, that's a hard thing to do sometimes. So.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
But if you want to make a good film, you're just going to have to. You have to have a lot of people involved. So just be ready for that.
That is as important as it is to delegate. That is something that actually makes me anxious because I'm very reluctant to offhand control of something.
Yeah.
I'm super. I try to have control over as much as I can.
Because we all grew up making our own content.
Totally.
Right.
So like
That's what I love about stand up is how much control I have over something.
Yeah.
So we're all very like individually like creating things where we don't really have to collaborate as much. But like something like a film, you have to. And so that's what comes down to. You got to learn how to hire good people, and you have to learn like what to look for different jobs on set. So that's why you got to know everything. That's why they talk about how good the show Barry is, because Bill Hader knows everything about the set because he started off as an intern and he was a PA. That's why in Tropic Thunder he plays a PA on set. Because he's done all those jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so like he's been a producer, he's been an actor, he's been a writer, and now he's the director and head guy of everything. He knows top to bottom what every job does. And so a good filmmaker, you need to know what a sound guy goes through. So that way, like, because I've been on sets where like people are just like screaming at the sound guy to get the boom at the shot and they're being so mean to him.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you're doing that because you don't know what it's like to hold that. Like the first project I helped with sound, and so I was holding the boom and shit. That shit is heavy. After a while, like it's not like a heavy thing, but like holding that shit for 8 hours, it gets heavy, you know?
Yeah. I think also if you haven't been on a set, you don't realize that's not like on a stand.
No.
Like people really don't know that that's a guy holding it.
That is a guy
for
holding
so
that
long.
shit. And he was doing that all day. And he's probably had an argument with his wife the night before and shit. Like that is a human being holding, so you can't just be yelling, boom in the shot. Like you can't be screaming at people. And so it's just like and then I know how shitty it is to be an intern, assistant, PA, like all that type of shit. Like a good filmmaker knows all of those things, and that's why like these nepo babies that make movies, they suck because they don't know that shit. They don't know what it's like to they don't know what it's like to be the PA that has to go get everything and get the coffee and you spill it by accident and you got to go back and all this. Like they don't know what that's like. That's a very like it really makes you who you are. You know what I'm saying? And so those kind of experiences. So.
That is something that I always found you're going to laugh at me for bringing this up, but like I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan.
Oh, yeah?
And something that
I've never seen one of those.
That's fine. But something that I love about it, I love watching the special features on it because you can see how much the crew loved making it.
I bet they had a great time.
Oh my God. You could see how each of them are like such nerds, how like the costume designers, they like engraved symbols in the leather on the inside of the costumes, which never showed up on camera, but helped like the actors get into character.
That's
because
amazing. I love
they put
stuff
in
like
so
that.
much detail just for the love of the game.
That's beautiful.
And it's so compelling and
that's why
enjoyable
those
to
movies
watch.
are so successful.
Exactly.
Attention to detail, man. Those movies made a lot of money.
What are some movies that got you obsessed with film when you were a kid?
Okay. I feel like the first, and this is gonna be funny, but I feel like the first film that made me really feel like, oh, I love movies was The Dark Knight when I was in middle school.
Nice, okay.
Because it was just like, at the time, like we were always going to church and stuff growing up, and so I was like always the youngest kid in the group, and so I would get picked on like a lot because I was like the youngest, smallest, whatever, and they had like the 14, 15-year-olds, like they could drive their cars, blah, blah, blah. And so we were all supposed to go see The Dark Knight on this one day. And they were like, yeah, we'll come pick you up, Niles. And so like I called them, and all I could hear was like a bunch of people laughing in the car. And they're like, yeah, we're going to come get you. We're going to come get you. And like then I put two and together. I was like, oh, they're not coming to get me. So I was just like sitting at the house. I was like, damn, I really wanted to see this movie. So I lied to my mom. I was like, hey, Mom, they told me to just like meet them at the movie theater. Can you take me there? And so she dropped me off, and I went in there, and I watched The Dark Knight by myself, and there was like some old people in there. And it was the first time I ever watched a movie by myself. And like, because when you go to the movies as a kid, you're like with a bunch of kids, and everybody's laughing and pushing each other. Somebody's getting a hand job and all this type of shit. And like that was the first time like I just like sat and watched a movie by myself in a theater, and I was like, this is amazing. And so like I didn't know if I wanted to make movies, but I loved them after that experience. But I love like all the stuff that Coen brothers do. Like I just think like the ability to make a movie that has like a crazy story, crazy plot, but then also make it funny. That's like running track and then being like, you know what? I don't want to just do sprints. I'll do hurdles too. I'll make this harder on myself because it's just like writing a crazy story with plots and twists for a script is already hard. But then to like also attempt to make it funny, like that's just like going the extra mile. And so I think the two of them just do it the best. So shout out to them.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Before we end, I want to know what are some films that are like super huge that have like critical acclaim? We're like, oh, this is amazing filmmaking. Are there any of those that you're like, this is terrible?
Okay. Ooh.
That actually have like that cred among like filmmakers. You're like, it's not actually that good.
I don't think Lost in Translation is a good movie.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Don't.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Did not like La La Land.
I couldn't finish that movie. I tried watching it. I couldn't
was
do
like,
it.
yeah, white people didn't invent jazz. Stop. But the thing is, I think Damien Chazelle is an amazing filmmaker, though. Whiplash is amazing. And then this last film he just did, Babylon, was sick. It was so good. So, yeah. Hey, everybody misses every now and then. He's 2 for 3 for me, you know.
No, that's not bad. That's a
not
passing
bad.
grade.
Yeah, 2 classics and 1 not good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like La La Land. Don't like Lost in Translation. What else is like a classic movie that I don't think is like...
I'll give you a name of one movie that has a lot of acclaim that I actively really hated.
Okay.
The Hurt Locker.
I've never seen it.
It's not good.
It's not?
I thought it was the most boring, vague, like no perspective film I've ever seen. I did not like it at all. Then again, I was 13 and probably didn't. I probably wasn't
I
old
was
enough.
13.
You don't have...
My brain wasn't developed yet.
Yeah.
Do you have a movie where you're like, this has not received the critical acclaim it does?
Oh,
that
yeah.
You want to shout out?
So there's this really dope indie comedy that came out in the mid 2000s that I think is up there with like Pineapple Express, like as far as like crazy adventure comedy. It's called Next Day Air, and Mike Epps is in it. I don't know if you've ever seen Power, but the actor that plays Ghost in Power is like he's like a young actor in this movie as well. But I think it came out like 2006, 2007. Mos Def is in it, and then Donald Faison from Scrubs is in it.
Oh, nice.
And it's hilarious. And so basically what happens is these guys live in an apartment building, and they're like small, they're like local dumb criminals. Like they do dumb shit. Like they rob gas stations and they jack cars and shit. And that's like how they pay rent. And they just play video games and smoke weed all day. But then Donald Faison is their friend that is like the goody two shoes, and he works for like the UPS of this universe. And so they always see him when he comes and delivers their packages. And so Donald Faison smokes weed before work, and he delivers a package for their across the hallway neighbor to them. And they open the package, and it's a vase. And then one of them drops the vase by accident, and then all these bricks of cocaine fall out the vase. And they're like, oh shit. And like they realize this wasn't for them. This is from across the street. And I mean across the hallway. That means our across the hallway neighbors are big time fucking coke dealers.
Right.
And so now they're arguing like, yo, do we like go tell them like we have your coke? And then one of the dudes is like, no, fuck that. We about to go sell this shit. And so basically now the movie goes through 3 different perspectives of the drug dealers across the hallway that are scared as fuck now because they don't know where their coke is.
Whoa, like Rashomon.
Yeah. And like they're scared as fuck because now their boss is like, where's my coke? Where is it? They have no idea because they never saw the package come in. And they only know that the website says it was delivered, but they don't know how. And then you got them who have this cocaine now but don't know what to do with it because they're small. They're like small local criminals. They don't know what to do with this shit. And then Donald Faison, who's the male person who fucked up, now these big drug dealers are after him because he's the one that fucked up. And then it just turns into like the craziest adventure at the end. It's so funny and it's so good. But it was just like, it was super tiny indie budget. You can tell it was low budget. And then it was this music video director named Benny Boom who shot a lot of rap videos. It was his first movie, so he wasn't like a big name director or anything.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it's like I'm sure it's on a streaming platform somewhere. But I think it's up there with like The Big Lebowski and Pineapple Express. It's just like a low budget indie black movie, but it's just so fucking funny. It's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Oh,
Next
that's
Day Air.
awesome.
Yeah, Next Day Air. Check it out.
Niles, you've been such an amazing guest.
Thanks for having me.
This is going to be coming out in some time. We're taking a little bit of a hiatus right now, but
Nice.
when we come back, this will come out in like maybe 3 weeks or so.
Okay.
Where can people follow you? Do you have anything you want to plug? Anything at all?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Niles100. I'm on Instagram at the Niles Abston Show, and I'm on TikTok. I think it's just Niles Abston. Yeah, go watch. I got specials out. I got stand-up out. Check it out. Still raising like funds for post-production on our film.
Nice.
So if you'd like to, throw something my way, please do.
Beautiful.
And yeah, hopefully I'll see you at a show in real life.
Nice.
Awesome. Lukas, what do you have going on?
What do I have going on? Oh, I'm going to be at the Vermont Comedy Fest. I'm going to be there. Check me out there. If you're in Vermont, just the whole state, just come on out to the entire festival. Yeah, otherwise you can follow me at Lukas T. Arnold on all social media. My other podcast, Two Nosy Meerkats, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, that's it for me. Tino, anything?
Huge. Follow me at WNBA Wife as always, and I'll post shows on Instagram. Usually is where I'm posting. I'll be in Philly in December. If anyone's in Philly,
hello.
and maybe some shows in New York. So follow me.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Thank you again. Thank you for watching and listening.
Thank you so much.
Toodaloo.